Finally, we have sound. Okay. Now let me see if I could use my mic. YouTube ain't got to do me like this. Shady bastards. Shady, shady, shady bastards. I think we have sound. I double check. Yay! Pray, travel, eat. Greetings. Welcome, guys, to another Friday Night Frights. I felt, what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a C. Not condemned, but I felt conviction last week when I was having a hot mess Friday. So I was uh, uh, the Friday Night Frights true crime. It was about me, but Eliza said, "What? No true crime?" I'm like, you know what? I was like, you know what? I felt convicted. So I'm gonna start off with this. Happy Friday. Yes, pray, travel, eat. You said in the other video that you heard about our Kathy. Yes, I did a breaking news exclusive live this morning about she has transitioned on. Yes, she has. So let me see. Okay, so I'm just going to give you all an update. This is crazy. So, you all, I don't know if you all know that me and Stella was physically attacked by a dog. We weren't bit, but we were attacked. Stella's fine. My knee is jacked up. The doctor told me that they want to refer me to physical therapy for my knee. So I called the complex on Monday and I told them about the dog attack. And, they were like, well, who is the resident? Where do they live? I don't know. I just moved here 3 months ago, right? So now here's Friday. I'm like, okay, so I need to know what's going on. So I text them. Well, I called and they says apologies to the delay. We do not have any update. We don't have any update on the dog issue. That's not proper English. I was notified even if we do find the resident, we can address it with them, but we cannot release any information to you as that violates their protection as a resident. As of right now, we don't have an update. Hold on. So I had to get renter's insurance, right? That's what last Friday was about, me getting renter's insurance and these horrible companies and things like that. Now, because someone didn't do their job with my renter's insurance when I first moved here in October, they only did it up until December 31st. Who thinks that someone's going to move somewhere temporarily for 2 months and then they're going to move back? That doesn't make any sense. But the person I was talking to evidently, I don't know. I don't know where people's minds be when they're working. I have no idea. So that was the fiasco last Friday of me trying to get renter's insurance. And I did. I finally got it. Now, the way the declarations page, if you have insurance, then the declarations page shows all of your coverage, the date of coverage, excuse me, the address, what's insured, whatever, whether it's home insurance or whether it's car insurance, right? Declaration page shows everything. So what happened is the insurance company that I went to, their declaration page is 2 pages. So they sent a binder. I've never seen them send a binder before, right? So they sent the binder, and the complex was like, "Oh no, we need this, we need that. It doesn't show the date that the coverage began. We need to see this." I'm like, "It shows all of this, but okay, I guess y'all not looking." So I contact them. I'm like, "Yeah, they're saying they need a declaration page." Okay, so the insurance company sends me my policy. Their declaration page is 2 pages. So I cut it off because I'm like, the complex doesn't need to know how much I pay for my insurance. That's not none of their business. They're not paying for it. And so I chopped it up, I sent it to them. The person wrote the because they have to do additional interest for the property, right? They want the new complexes want the companies to let you know if you are compliant, if your insurance lapse, whatever, whatever. So the complex's address was wrong. So I got it fixed, but they were like, "Oh, we're putting you on the liability protection, whatever, whatever, for $15 and this, that, and the third." And I'm like, "Why? I have coverage." So I send them the coverage, right? So I do all of this. Now you need renter's insurance. God forbid if something happens, you're protected, your property is protected, your individual assets are protected, and also their property is protected. But what happens if you're attacked by a dog? That falls under your medical and personal protection under your policy. So I'm like, so they read to me, oh, well, we can't tell you this information. So hold on. So this insurance is basically for the complex and the complex only because I got attacked by someone's dog. So when I called my insurance company, they said all you need is their insurance information to put in a claim because I'm not paying for physical therapy. Why should I have to pay for that? Don't I have insurance? So when they sent me the message and they said, "Oh well, we can't give that. We can address it with them." Okay. But what happens when someone needs to put in a claim? So I text them back and I'm like, "So how do I file a claim? And what happens and what if it happens again? What rights do I have as a tenant against dog attacks?" They telling me to call the animal control. They can help you with this issue. If anything comes about this, we can contact the resident to have the animal removed with the police report from animal control. So it's all about the animal. What about the people? What happens? What do you have medical part of your insurance for if I can't file a claim and I'm a tenant? These companies, y'all, are absolutely disgusting. I'm not done with this. It's just that I just got this text message while I was on the phone with you all. I'm not done with this because I shouldn't have to pay for my uh, um I shouldn't have to pay for physical therapy when I was attacked by a tenant's dog. So people always ask me, why you always fighting? Why you always taking people to court? Because people don't know how to be honest nowadays. That's why. People are just not honest. When they could actually make things right, they choose not to. So this is why you have to take people to court and hold them accountable. Greetings, Jesse Castillo. Zoe in Progress, Zip Media. Do you think moving to African countries worth moving to? So let me just read a portion of a comment that was posted to me. Thank God that YouTube now allows us to comment or they allow us to make a video to a comment. So, Joyce, I will be making a comment. I will be addressing your comment. Joyce Darby. Joyce Darby joined YouTube 13 years ago. They have no subscribers. It's called Joyce Darby 4097. And Joyce Darby decides to send a ridiculous comment, but I'm going to address you, Joyce, because I know you're not like us. I know you're not a Black American. I know. I know. I can tell by the way you're writing, but you wanted attention and I'm going to give it to you, boo. So, with your question, Zoe in Progress, Zip Media, do you think moving to African countries worth moving to? So, per Joyce Darby says, you are not the gatekeeper of, wait, hold on, let me make sure I got it right. You are not the gatekeeper of returning to Africa. Who said I was, Joyce? I didn't. It's amazing when you start speaking truth and honesty and holding people accountable. That's when the rats come out of the woodwork and come out of their little rat hole, out of the sewer, and then they have so much to say. But they didn't have anything to say when I've been screaming to the rooftop for the past 5 years about what has happened in the Gambia and the scam, right? But now, but I'm gonna address this person. I'm going to address this person because Americans don't speak like this. But Joyce, you asked for this, boo. So I'm gonna say this, Zoe. That is a personal opinion, a personal choice of someone moving to an African country. What I've learned is you're going to need, yes, you're going to need money, right? Preferably, unless, okay, so if you're retired and you have a nice pension, then it may be worth it to an extent. Because are you going to rent or are you going to purchase land and build a home, right? Because both come with their own challenges. If you're renting, you may have the chance of renting something and then things are broken and the apartment manager or owner wants you to pay for it. They don't want to fix anything because it's not like America. And then is the place furnished or do you have to furnish it? It doesn't come with a stove and a refrigerator. It's bare bones. You have to bring everything. So if you have a great pension, then you may be good with that. If you are a woman, you're going to run into challenges as a single woman, right? Staying somewhere, if it's in an apartment, people trying to holler at you, everybody trying to get a green card and come back to America, even though they will say that they hate Americans and they hate America, but they still want to get here. I mean, if I don't like a place, I'm not breaking my neck to go back to the Gambia, but that's me. I don't like a place. You're not going to see me in that place. I don't want to be there. I don't like that place. I go back because I have to. But if these foreigners are always talking about America, then why are, oh, America, they, your president and this and that, then why are y'all killing yourselves to get here? I don't understand. You don't like Americans. You think we're stupid. You think that we pass up on many opportunities because you don't know America. You don't know how it is. Most foreigners don't know America. Even the ones that's been here for a while, they still may not know. They're not going to know everything that the Black Americans know because they weren't born here. And but you can't tell some Gambians that, oh, I know America. Okay. But that's like me living in the Gambia for 40 years, like the guy that was arrested because he had a joint and was thrown into Mile 2 and his hair was cut off. I guarantee you he thought he knew Gambia too. But that, for me to say, oh, I know Gambia more than anyone, that's asinine. Because if you're not born there, then no, you don't know Gambia better than the Gambians. But foreigners will say that they know America better than a Black American or better than an American. And I just laugh. And then they go through the stuff that they're going through now. And they're like, hey, Black Americans, y'all gonna help us? Well, no, y'all said we stupid. Y'all said we don't know what's going on. So help yourself there. So there are many pros and cons to going to Africa, to moving there. First, you need to go and visit and realize that when you're going to visit, you're a visitor. They're going to show you the best of the best. But you need to ask those tough questions, right? But then who do you ask? Because some people, when I went to the Gambia, I'm asking tough questions. They lying to me. I don't know if I'm the person to ask because I see the good and the bad, and I'm not ready to retire. So for me, I don't know. But there are many pros and cons that you will have to ask yourself. Many pros and cons you will have to ask yourself in regards to, what do you want if you're going to Africa? What do you want? What do you aspire to attain from whatever country you're going to? Do you need an income or do you have an income? Is your income substantial enough to sustain you in said African country? If it's not, what are you going to do? Don't sell land because then people are going to think you a scammer. I would say start a business. If I lived in the Gambia, I would have a small supermarket. Everybody always needs to eat, right? Everyone always needs to wash their clothes, right? I'm waiting for somebody to pop up and do my business idea, but you have to want to work as well. So most of the people that are going to Africa are retired. They're not trying to have a full-time job. They're trying to live their best life. Some of them have the money to sustain themselves and some of them don't. So it depends on you, and it depends on what you are trying to get out of moving to Africa. I just wanted to make a little money. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to set up my retirement. I didn't People think I moved there. No, I got stuck in that hellhole trying to find a lawyer, trying to fight these scammers, right? And for those who haven't heard, our Kathy has passed away yesterday. So let's get into this. I'm 16 minutes in. Welcome to Friday Night Frights. I'm not going to be on here long because I was on here an hour and a half this morning, but I wanted to not leave you all hanging for Friday Night Frights. So we are focusing on fraud schemes, right? This is in honor of my first live. Where's my water? This is in honor of my first live today, which was talking about, um, our Kathy leaving this world. And you want to go outside? Talking about our Kathy leaving this world. And I also shared with you all my experience. Go ahead. It's cold out there. My experience with Art Kathy, right? So, and I share with you all the fraud scheme, what it was, um, and some aspects about it. So that's why I decided to stay on track with the fraud scheme. So that's what we're going to be highlighting. I have three people I want to highlight. And the first one we're going to do is Sean Kingston. Now, I don't know if you all know that Sean Kingston is in prison. He is in prison. I'm going to do him first because that's the thumbnail. So rapper Sean Kingston has been sentenced to 3 years for fraud scheme. Now, let me explain to you exactly what happened. So, it was him and his mama. Him and his mama. What in the heck is going on? Him and his mama are in prison. Oh, this is. I was touching the wrong screen. Can you see? There we go. There we go. Okay. So, all right. She got a nice little shape. She does not have any hair though. She does not have any hair. This is her mugshot. That's a big difference from the other picture, right? Yeah, that's a big difference. You can't have all the makeup and all that other stuff on in a. So let me tell you what happened. When I saw this, I was like, wait, hold up, wait a minute. So let me break this down. Let me tell y'all what happened. So in August 15th, 2025, that's funny, that's my dad's birthday. Rapper Sean Kingston has been sentenced to 3.5 years in federal prison in a $1 million fraud scheme. The Beautiful Girl singer was convicted earlier this year, along with his mother, in a wire fraud scheme where they stole luxury items including watches, a 232-inch LED TV, a bulletproof Cadillac Escalade, and furniture exceeding $1 million or 738,000 pounds. Now, hold on. A 232-inch TV? What in the hell? A 232-inch TV. What? Who is buying a 232-inch TV? Okay. All right. So it says prosecutors said Kingston, whose legal name is Keyshawn Anderson, and his mother used the rapper's celebrity status to get victims to give them products, and when payment was due, would send them fake wire receipts. First of all, only criminals know how to make a fake wire receipt. I don't know how to do that, and I'm happy I don't know how to do that. The singer apologized to the court before being sentenced and said he'd learned from his actions, according to U.S. media. His mother Janice Turner was sentenced in July to 5 years in prison. Yes, you heard that correctly. The mother, 62-year-old Janice Turner, was accused by the judge of being the fixer and nerve center in charge of the scheme, as per as her past convictions for similar crimes painted her as being in charge of the scheme. Okay. All right. Now, I screenshot this months ago when it happened. In August, I screenshot it. And I wasn't going to do it. But I said, this is perfect for fraud scheme. So let me just share this with you all. Because I don't know if you all know that Sean Kingston and his mother is in prison. Now, evidently, Janice Turner, that's her name, right? I think it said Janice Turner. Yes. So Janice Turner is 62. And she was accused by the judge of being the fixer and nerve center. So basically, they're saying that Janice was the brains of the operation and of the scheme. And as her past convictions for similar crimes painted her as being in charge of the scheme. So she must already have um other fraud convictions, similar crimes. I swear. Now, this woman doesn't even realize that when she gets out of prison, she is going to be deported. Do you think that they're going to keep her? No. She's going to be deported back to Jamaica. Now, your son was worth $2 million, and you bring this to your son, and he has destroyed his own life by following behind his mother in her fraud scheme. Now, when you hear about what they've done, I'm like, are these people special? So it says the Jamaica. Now, the mother got 5 years, so she must have received more time because of her past convictions of similar crimes. So Sean got 3 years. Sean got 3 years. The mother got five. The Jamaican American rapper, who is also known for his hits like Fire Burning, Take You There, Eeny Meeny, which featured singer Justin Bieber, was arrested in 2024 in California, where he was set to perform at an army training base in the Mojave Desert. Wow, that sucks. He was arrested in California where he was set to perform. So they were like, you're not even performing. Well, they should have let him perform knowing that he owes all this money, right? So let's see. It says his arrest happened after authorities raided his home near Fort Lauderdale, where his mother was taken into custody. Federal prosecutors said Kingston reached out to victims on social media, saying he wanted to purchase luxury goods and then invited them to his various homes in South Florida. Always in Florida. Kingston promised these victims to post their products on his social. Okay, so I don't know who wrote this, but Kingston promised his victims that he would post their products on his social media and sometimes offered to refer their products to other high, in quote, right, quotation, high profile celebrities, federal prosecutors said. But when payment was due for the products, he or his mother sent them fake wire receipts that falsely showed they sent over money, prosecutors said at trial. Authorities said most victims were never paid, though several did receive payment after law enforcement got involved or lawsuits were filed. A key piece of evidence shown at trial were text messages between Kingston and his mother discussing the fake receipts, according to CBS, the BBC's news partner. It states, in quotation, "I told you to make a fake receipt," he wrote in one. So he was fully, um, he was a willing participant. Kingston's attorney, Zelka Bozanic, okay, I don't know what nationality, said the singer was in quotation mark, a soft guy who grew up poor when he rose to fame overnight. Well, That means you could take the criminal out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the criminal. I don't know, because just because you grew up poor doesn't mean you got to go out here and scam people just because you become famous overnight. His mother should have guided him properly, right? But since she was guilty and convicted of past crimes of similar nature or stature, um yeah, she led him down the wrong road. She wasn't the best role model. The Kingston's lawyer said, Kingston still had the mentality of a teenager. Wow. And didn't know how to run his bank accounts or business. He will begin serving his time immediately. So that was crazy is I never read this, right? A lot of times I screenshot things and I never read it because I want it to be fresh when I'm telling the story online. So I don't know if, the mom babied him, and they said he was like a teenager and he didn't know how to run his bank accounts and his business. But I'm going to say this, family. If you have a son, if you have a daughter, if you have a child, so many banks have so many banks are they have student accounts and children accounts, and to teach your child how to save money, building financial wealth and building financial responsibility with your children. This is not what Janice did with her son. Where we at? There we go. This is not what Janice did with her son. Unfortunately, Janice Turner, a Jamaican American, right? A Jamaican American. Maybe she comes from a certain lifestyle. We know how Jamaica is. I ain't even going front. I'm not even going sugarcoat anything. We already know how Jamaica is. And I don't know. What I'm seeing is some foreigners do come over and they bring their criminal behavior and their nonsense with them. And I'm like, why? Your son was a celebrity. He was worth 2 million. Why are you, even if it was in the past where you did similar crimes, where they call them white collar crimes, but why would you bring that to your son? He's a celebrity. Do you even know where he could have went in life, Janice? Well, unfortunately, now both of them have mugshots. Son and mama. She got 5 years. He got 3. Fraud schemes gone wrong. It's not worth it. If you know, like I know, these fraud schemes, if you are a scam artist, just cut it out because it's not worth it. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. Thank you so much for liking. I appreciate you. Elo in. You're the first person that liked it. I appreciate you. If you live in the United States and you email travelwithtaytay@gmail.com, I'll give you a free gift card because I appreciate you for that. So, this is the house. It says a SWAT team raided Kingston's rented mansion. That was rented in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on May 23rd. Now, oh, Jesus Christ. If I was ever blessed with the money that some of these celebrities were blessed with, I will not be renting. Why would I rent? Do they not know? But see, she's a Jamaican American. She may not fully, what did I say? Foreigners, even when she wasn't born here, he was born here, right? But he is a first generation Jamaican. He's a first generation Jamaican American. She's a Jamaican. She may have become a Jamaican American if she got her citizenship, right? But I don't think the mother was born here. I could be wrong, but I don't think his mother, Janice Turner, was born here. But it says he has also put up, so that's the house. And it says he has also put up a relative's $500,000 house as part of the bond requirement. So, Jesus. See, this is that hood mindset. And many black people have it, whether they're in Jamaica, whether they're in Haiti, whether they're in Africa, whether they're in America. Many black people have this mindset. Many people, but I'm just talking about black people now. They have this mindset of, I'm making this money. I'm worth all this money. Let me show you I got name brand this. Let me show you I got jewelry. Let me show you I got this. I have that. But you're living in a rented home. Why? With the money you have, with the money he was making, he could have purchased a home. I guess his mother, his like I said, his mother is a Jamaican American, so she may not fully understand what it means to be a Black American. If your son was making all this money, then y'all should have put down a down payment for a home. Buy a home. Why are you renting a mansion? Jesus Christ. And then it wasn't, and then you scam these people out of all of this money, right? They defraud these people out of all of this money. A 232-inch LED TV. Why? They were selling, y'all. They purchased. Well, no, they didn't purchase it. They schemed people. They scammed people out of it because they didn't purchase it. But it was a bulletproof Escalade. What do you need with a bulletproof Escalade unless you're about that life? Auntie seemed like she is about that life. Okay. You've been, Janice Taylor, 62 years old. She was already convicted of past convictions. She already has past convictions of similar crimes. So she was about getting that money by any means necessary. And she took her son down with her. Ma'am, you will be deported when you get out. So if you're a foreigner and you thinking about doing something illegal, don't do it. Not in this with this administration. You may find yourself back in your country and you be like, well, what happened? What happened? So that is the first one. Let's go to the second one. The second one, I'm going to leave that one for last. So the second one is, I don't know if you all heard of Paul, Christy and Paul Akio. Akio. I don't know how to pronounce their surname, right? This is a Detroit, Michigan couple. It says mid-Michigan couple detained in Cancun over alleged fraud. Okay, so now let's talk about them. Now, I saw this a while ago as well. I don't know. So there's speculation, but I was told that she did not die of cancer, that it wasn't cancer. So they just wanted me to know so that way I can release it, because they know how hard I've been fighting, and I appreciate them for letting me know that first, right? So anybody else that take it, they heard it from Chapel with Tay Tay. Okay, so that was a little narcissistic moment, guys, because people don't give me credit. They just be posting stuff. They don't give me no credit. I'm like, damn, good thing that's not plagiarizing. So it wasn't. I was told that it wasn't of cancer. Because this, oh, let me just address this real quick, right? Because Joyce Darby, whatever her name is, aka Monica. You hate me so much because you're not me, boo. Oh my God. But I'm gonna address that in another video. But our Kathy herself said that she didn't have cancer. Y'all remember? I ain't got cancer, y'all. I ain't dead. Cancer ain't killed me yet. Right? Y'all remember she said that. So with that being said, she said herself that she did not have cancer. So, but then she came back and said she did. So it's like the boy that cried wolf. But I was told that she did not die of cancer. And it's just speculation as of right now. But I believe it was foul play. It could have been foul play. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. So let's get into this Michigan couple that scammed people, that was arrested for a fraud scheme. So they said it was like a horror movie. Michigan grandparents detained in Mexico over timeshare dispute. So the place is called Palace Elite Resorts. Alleges the couple defrauded the company through $117,000 of chargebacks on their American Express card. Now, just as a sidetrack, this says 117,000. Just as a side thing, right? You see the 117,000. As a side note, 60 and 60 is 67, and 67 is 134. Wait, 7 and 7, 14, cat 12, 134, right? So what Quasi and Art Kathy did to us was work in Phoenix Rain, because and I always put all three of them in there because I'm not messing with you, Eliza. Why I put all three of them on there when I talk about the fraud scheme is because all of them signed the paperwork. So at some level, each person is responsible. Art Kathy was in front of the camera telling people, invest, donate, look at this, ain't this beautiful? Oh, you talk about high-speed internet, girl, we got high-speed internet, what you think I'm talking on now, right? So these are all the things. You're in front of the camera, you're telling people to send money, and then you never come up out of that room, that apartment, of smoking nonstop weed and living like a crackhead. You never come up out of that room, out of that apartment, to go and check on the properties where your name is on it. That's just bad business, Joyce Darby, whatever your name is, Monica. Oh, you're a foolish woman. I thought you was experienced and blah, 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 and a business person. I know right from wrong. But it's funny how they always want to blame the victim, make the victim the villain. How about you go after the people that actually scammed us? Okay. So she says she was cured from her cancer with her special herb. She did say that, right? A month after she was asking for the $80,000 GoFundMe. But it's funny that the one person that came on and made a horrible comment, you want to insult me, ma'am, but you only know things because I shared them with you. And why do I share? So we can heal. Some people want to live in the nonsense and don't want to heal. We're going to leave them on the side of the road. For those that want to elevate and want to heal, I don't want to do earth again. I don't know how much y'all think about reincarnation, but I believe in reincarnation. I don't believe that energy doesn't die. And I believe that my God, my creator, is bigger than just heaven and earth. Oh, if you don't do right, you going to hell. Well, for some of us, this is hell on earth. So, yeah. But I want to hear, well done, move on to your next life. Where you going? I'm be like, not to earth, God. I need to I don't want to go back to earth for another 3 years. Send me somewhere else. I'm tired of earth. By the time I come back to earth again after this life, it's going to be totally different. It's going to be totally different. But, Art did say she was cured of her herbs. But I feel like this. If it wasn't about the scamming and she really did have cancer, but then she said she didn't have cancer. She said it was inflammation, right? So we don't know. We just going by what she said, what she has said. But I feel like whatever, how some people, how they say when some people are about to die, they have like these epiphanies. And she had almost $5,400, $10 shy of $5,400, right? Or maybe she had 5,000 after GoFundMe took their portion. But I feel like she should have got on a plane and came back to America if she could, to go and see her son. Right? But she sat there in the beginning of the video and she's like, oh, God, my son, he's my heart, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then in the next segment, it's like, but I'll see him some other way because I ain't coming back to America. Y'all over there slaves. And then I'm like, well, what in the hell? I thought her son was important. If you felt like you were dying, then I'm going to go and see my son. But can you actually go and see your son, or did she owe child support? Was there some type of legal issue where if she came in the country, she couldn't leave out the country? You know what I mean? It's just so many of these people. I mean, they said, what's her name? ES? They said she doesn't even have a U.S. passport. And I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, she got to go to Sierra Leone to get a passport. I'm like, I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm not going to stay in Africa long enough for my passport to expire. I'm not going to do that. But then I also don't know what these people are doing in America. They're going to show you what they want to show you. But if they're having legal issues behind the scenes and they can't come back to America, you think they're going to get on this camera and tell you that? No. So I don't know why Art Kathy didn't just come back and see her son. Maybe that was her epiphany. Maybe something was telling her, girl, you about to leave this world. You need to go see your son. But she said, oh, I'll see him somewhere else. I got work to do. So, and I'm not bashing her death, but I am going to talk about what has happened while she was alive and my interaction with her. See, Joyce Darcy, whatever her name, aka Monica, aka no truth, no honesty, no accountability, not holding anyone accountable. This is the thing. Just like I said earlier today, when Charlie Kirk passed away, how many people came out and was like, well, just because he got killed in this horrible manner does not mean that all of the stuff that he said, and I didn't know who he was, I'm just going by what other people said, but all of the stuff that he said, it doesn't erase what you have done in life. Someone passed away in New York. The granddaughter, oh, my grandfather, he was such a good grandfather. And I'm looking at the screen like, why is she lying? This man ain't worked since you were born, ma'am. He was comfortable living off his mama, off his wife, right? He get up in the middle of the night. He making, homemade fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, homemade biscuits. Who makes that at 2:00 in the morning? And then he wondered why he was 80, looked like he was 80 months pregnant. But this is what we do, right? We were taught, don't speak ill of the dead. Well, if the dead was living ill, then we need to speak the truth. We don't just change what you have done just because you died. If I die tomorrow, they're going to say, this girl was always talking SHIT, but she was a fighter, this, that, and the third. They're going to talk the good and the bad about me. But just because Art Kathy has passed away, I ain't kill her. So why can't I still have the right to talk about what has happened with me? Joyce Darby, go over there on somebody else's channel where you can live in lies, okay? Because we standing in truth over here, boo. And if I ever come to the UK, I'm gonna show you how I get treated, because you're from Angola, so you are a black British. Don't say it, Tay Tay. Don't say it. I'm just some of these people are showing me that some foreigners actually hate us. They hate our existence. But thank God we are Black Americans and we don't give a F. She should have made her wrongs right, because you don't know when you're going to leave this earth. I agree, Liza, but there was no way that she was going to be able to make $16,000 right. If these people are still online scamming other people, they don't have it. They blew it. Probably just like Sean Kingston and his mama. Right? You rented a home and you gotta get your family member to put up their $500,000, their $500,000 house to for you to get bail. Speak the truth and shame the devil. Amen. Ashe. Ashe. I don't even understand why people are so worried about my little struggling channel, y'all. My little channel ain't like her struggling channel, but y'all know who I am. That I'm a small but fierce voice in my Martin Luther King voice. Hold on, I need to sound like Malcolm X. I'm more of a Malcolm X than Martin Luther King. I know I'm a rowdy about it by any means necessary. Okay, so back to this couple, Christy and Paul. So this is what happened with them. Per NBC News.now, a Michigan couple's family says they have been detained in a prison in Mexico for nearly 3 weeks over a kidnapping and extortion attempt stemming from a contract dispute related to a timeshare. Now, on March 4th, Christy and Paul Aquillo, I like that name, of Spring Arbor landed in Cancun for a long planned vacation. Now, this is the crazy part. Okay, so Paul, 58, is a Navy veteran submariner. Oh, that's a cool job. Who now works as an engineer for the Michigan State Police. Wow. And Christy, now why the hell are they scamming? He has a great career. Hold on, let me read this again. You see this, y'all? Scammers can't help themselves. So it says Paul. Let me show you who Paul is again. All right. This is them, right? Paul, 58-year-old native veteran submariner who now works as an engineer for the Michigan State Police. Now you know he is making bank, baby. And Christy, she's 60, a retired small business owner. They spend much of their time caring for their grandchildren and were looking for a break from the Midwestern winter weather. So they decided to go to Cancun. Lindsay Limp Hall said that shortly after they arrived in Mexico, she got a panic call from her stepfather. The couple had been detained at immigration and told they were being arrested on fraud charges. Hmm. Hmm. Here they are close up. Oh, that's perfect, right? I love my new phone, right? That's them. Okay, so they were arrested. That's Paul and Christy. Okay, so they were told that they were being arrested on fraud charges. Okay, so Palace Elite Resorts, a Mexican hospitality company, told NBC News in a statement that it filed a complaint with the Mexican police, the Mexican public prosecutor, which then led to the arrest of the Aquillos. They be saying Mexico don't be doing their job, but they do be arresting people. Paul and Christy Aquillo had bought a timeshare membership with the company several years earlier, and the company alleges that they defrauded it through $117,000 of chargebacks on their American Express card, in which American Express takes back funds from a vendor. So basically, what they did was they call it a chargeback. It's when you put in a dispute to your credit card company, right? So the couple, through their lawyer and family, deny the fraud charges, the fraud allegations. But hold on, if you charge something and then you want your money back and you receive something, then that is fraud. Hall said, okay, so Lindsay Lemke Hall is the parent. Okay, I mean, is the daughter. So Hall said her parents traveled to Mexico unaware that there was a warrant for their arrest. Well, of course they didn't know it was a warrant for their arrest. If they knew that, then they wouldn't have went. Right? I don't think that, I mean, Art Kathy ain't come back to America. Many of them are not coming back to America because they're probably afraid that there's some type of warrant for their arrest. I couldn't comprehend what was happening. Well, Art Kathy can't come back now, but I'm saying before. I couldn't comprehend what was happening, Hull said, the daughter. She said the experience just a few weeks after she gave birth to her second daughter is like a horror movie. Our parents were supposed to come home from vacation 3 weeks ago, she said. Instead, they were kidnapped and being held for ransom in a foreign country. Now, you see, this is now I don't know if Lemke's parents told her this or if this was she said, because if you all don't know, okay, let me see. I have the picture. Let me get the picture. Let me get the picture. So if you all don't know, God dang it. I see why Monica was hating on me, y'all. I was skinny as F and didn't know it. I thought I was fat. But thank God, because I probably would have been a hot mess. But when I lose weight this time, I'm going to stunt on them hoes. Okay, just so you know. They're going to be like, oh, Jesus, what happened to her? She should still have the weight on her. Nope. Now I'm going to stunt. Because, you be nice to people, and then you really don't know that they be hating on you. So you hate on me because I want to eat right. I'm healthy. I'm living my own engagement rings, Monica. Poor little Tink Tink. You still trying to fight me over your dude. Women, we need to understand and know that the woman isn't the problem. If your man is saying that he's single, if your man is saying that he is single and he's not, that's your man's problem. Don't blame the woman, boo, because it's not her fault. You best believe if I knew that Marty was with someone, I wouldn't have talked to him. So just so you know that, Monica, but you are one of the people, you're a black British by way of Angola, by Africa. So we know that y'all hate us. Many of y'all, many of the continental Africans absolutely hate our guts. They do. And it's okay. There's nothing we could do about it. You hate us after your ancestors sold our ancestors, please. So I don't know if you all remember this picture. Oh, wait, hold on. Where is it? Can you see? So y'all know that's Renee Marcus, right? On the right. I'm in the blue. But I am blocking out the picture of her brother because we're still in court, right? So y'all remember that. If not, it's the picture is on, it's on Instagram. It's on the video is still up, the African wedding. I didn't take that down and I left it up there on purpose because people want to do diabolical things and then they want you to go and hide. No, you are the criminal. I'm not a criminal, so I will not hide. I will not hide. Okay, so you just need to stop being freaking criminals. So what's crazy is when I got robbed, Monica was contacting the American, what's his name? Troy. She was contacting him. Oh, tell your friend, your sister this, why is she doing this to him? And blah, he was just her security. She didn't know anything. Because what? He was telling her, oh, they arrested me. And I don't know what the hell he was telling her. But what she was saying is they arrested him and they're holding him for a bribe. That's what she said. Right? But that wasn't the truth. They had evidence. The evidence that he said that was stolen, his jewelry, was at the bottom of my bag. I guess he thought I was gonna give him my bag that day. How many women let the Gambian men hold their bags? The bumpsters, the Gambian boys in men bodies, they let them hold their bags. You best believe if you don't know what performative is, then Google it. It's performative. It's not genuine. It's for them to think. It's for them to get you to think that you can trust me. I'm trustworthy. You can trust me. And once you let your guard down, boom. Just in case you don't know. So this is the same thing. Somebody that's in jail will tell the person anything. They're going to lie to them because they want that person to get them out. So that is what Lemke parents said. Our parents were supposed to come home from vacation 3 weeks ago. And instead they were kidnapped and being held for ransom in a foreign country by the police. Since their detainment, the Akils are being held in prison at prison Cerezo, there it is, Cerezo, Cancun, in Quintana Roo, Mexico. Never been there. According to the family and their attorney, Hall and her brother have been able to speak to their parents only via short telephone calls. They're not paying for them long distance calls. They said that their parents had not received appropriate food or medical care, and that Christy Akeo has lost more than 20 pounds in prison. See, this is what happens when you're dealing with privileged people like Christy, the Christies, right? Doug, is his name Doug? What's that dude? The Chrisleys. Chrisley know best. I don't know what their names are. What's his name? With him and his wife, they had the TV show on Bravo. Wait, let me see. Chrisley knows best. Okay, so what were their names? Todd Chrisley and his wife Julie, right? This is what their daughter was saying. Oh my God, it's so harsh in prison. I'm like, prison is not supposed to be easy, ma'am. What the? Both parents have medical conditions that require medications. Well, in prison, they'll give you the medications in America. I don't know what you're getting in Mexico. The children and their attorney said, and without access to their medication, Christy is having serious allergic reaction. Oh, this is funny. This is funny. Don't do the crime, boom. The Mexican state attorney's office did not respond to detailed questions about the conditions. The Mexican consulate did not respond to questions. They like, y'all, this is Mexico. Do you think this is an American prison? We're not thinking about that. This is Mexico. This is a third world country. You are in prison. You did something wrong, and we don't care if you have an allergic reaction, a roach bites you, a mouse bites you, and the rat come and eat your eye out. We don't care. They don't care. A local judge ordered them to remain in custody and order 6 more months for the parties to collect evidence before the next court date. The children say they fear for their parents' lives as the days go without action. The day after they were arrested, Lindsay and her brother, like Mike Lemke, spoke with a consular official at the U.S. consulate in Cancun. They said that the first indication that things may not have been above board. They said that was the first indication that things may have not been above board. The American consular told Limke that the office had heard from a contact in the state's attorney's office that a private company, the Palace Company, was looking to settle, in quotation marks, financially, the family said. The Palace Company is the Mexican resort corporation their parents bought a timeshare membership through several years ago. So your parents bought a timeshare and then they did a chargeback where they took their money back. And Limke, who seems like she's privileged, right? Mommy and daddy had a great job. So Limke grew up privileged. And you're saying they were looking to settle. Well, it's all about money anyway, right? Your family, your mother and your father took back $117,000 on their American Express card for something that they signed for. And of course they want to settle because it's all about money. If there's no honesty, there's no truth. And wait, if there's no honesty, then there's no, and if there's no honesty, then there's no truth, and if there's no accountability for the actions of the individuals, then there is no community, right? But Limke did not have any. The family didn't have any truth, right? They weren't being honest, and Limke, doesn't want to hold her parents accountable for charging back $117,000 for things that they paid for. I mean, what? This is not rocket science. So it says, in recent days, the Akil's lawyer said Palace offered a settlement if the couple paid $250,000. Wow. Signed a non-disclosure agreement, helped take down a Facebook group related to Palace Resorts that Christy Akil had participated in and publicly apologized. The family declined and called the settlement offer an extortion attempt, they said. Wait. So Christy participated in a Facebook group. Wait, so did Christy create this Facebook group related to Palace Resorts? Wow. These people are definitely privileged. Okay, so I want to see what happens. Palace attorneys reiterated their settlement offer Wednesday afternoon. The family said via their lawyer. So look, Palace Resorts doubled down, okay? They doubled down. Palace said in a statement that it is operating within, quotation marks, strict compliance with the law. It does not respond to additional questions about the settlement offer. Okay. The family said that they reported the offer to the State Department's special envoy for hostage affairs, but they had not yet received a response. So they're saying that they're being held hostage because they took back $117,000. No accountability. No accountability. The State Department said that it was aware of the case and that it takes our commitment to assist U.S. citizens abroad seriously, but that it would not comment further because of privacy concerns. So the Department of State continuously monitors the circumstances surrounding the detentions of U.S. citizens overseas, including those in Mexico. The Department of State, y'all hear that? So if you're ever detained, the Department of State continuously monitors the circumstances surrounding the detention of U.S. citizens overseas. So that means in Africa as well, for indicators that the detentions may be wrongful. When making these assessments, the department looks at the totality of the circumstances and makes determinations for each case individually, it said. Palace said in a statement that it warns that the conduct of the Akils appears to be criminal and exercises its right to report it to the investigating authority. I mean, that's good that they reported it and then they tracked them and then they arrested them immediately. That's amazing. Shout out to Mexico. The company, Yami didn't do that. The company acknowledged, well, I'm lying. Serious crimes did do that. But the deputy commissioner of prosecution, when I said I wasn't going to sleep with him, it was over. It was over. He was not moving forward with that anymore. So the company acknowledged its roles in initiating negotiations while the couple are in prison. So I feel like the company is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, but you people want to go to other countries and do messed up things and then don't want to be held accountable. It said that the nature of the Mexican legal system is restorative justice to repair damage rather than to punish the offender, and that it allows parties to negotiate resolutions outside court. That happens in America. It's just no jail. It's just it is in any jail that's involved. Jail isn't involved. Palace is fully open to opting for this alternative solution, stating that the Akios legal team has sent us a request in this regard. It said in a statement, we are currently in discussions to reach an agreement through which the cessation of the illicit conduct and the compensation for damages can be guaranteed. Good for them. Hold them accountable. In 2021, the Akios bought a timeshare membership. So this is the backstory. In 2021, the Akios bought a timeshare membership package from Palace Elite Resorts for $6,923 per month for 11 years, the family's lawyer said. Jesus Christ. You hear those numbers? Let me say that again. They bought a timeshare membership package for $6,923 per month. So that's almost $7,000 a month. They were making guap. The monthly fee was charged to an American Express card. NBC News has reviewed a copy of the timeshare agreement by the family, although it is unclear whether it is the final agreement. American Express did not provide any documentation about the bills or the information shared by the NBC News, citing privacy concerns. Within months of the Akios having purchased the membership package, Palace and Akios were at odds. Of course. You didn't pay them $14,000 in 2 months. You could have went and bought a house for that. Christy wrote on Facebook that Palace accused her of wrongfully posting photos to profit off the resort and canceled stays racked up through a referral program. The complaint says Paul then successfully disputed nearly $117,000 in American Express charges tied to their membership. The family lawyer said Palace failed to provide the goods and services. So let me understand this. Christy wrote on Facebook that Palace accused her of wrongfully posting photos to profit off the resort. Okay, so Christy was starting things on Facebook. She was creating or starting the whatever, and then and cancel stays racked up, and then the husband went ahead and disputed those charges. So in 2022, American Express investigated the dispute and refunded them the full amount. It initiated chargebacks in which it took back the money it had originally paid to the vendor. According to the initial complaint filed by the Mexican State Attorney's Office, as well as a statement the Palace company provided to the NBC News. American Express did not respond to detailed questions about the case, only saying it was looking into the situation. John Mainley, an attorney for the Akios, called the fraud charges utterly false. But you did take the money back. The Akios are being held because they successfully disputed Palace's charges and failure to deliver services with the American Express, criticized the company online, and alerted others who felt wronged by Palace, he said. Representative Tom Barrett, Republican of Michigan, said Monday that he was working to aid the couple in Mexico. Yes, they did get help from the State Department. Isn't it nice being white and rich? I have spoken to their family and assured them that my team and I took immediate action and are doing everything we can to help. I have been in contact and will continue working with the White House, State Department, and law enforcement in Michigan to assure this situation is resolved urgently and safely as possible. Now they're asking for the president to step in. Wow. Damn, these people are really privileged. Family requests the immediate assistance of President Donald J. Trump as they believe he is their only hope. The White House did not respond to requests for comment. Amy Forner, who identified herself as the creator and moderator of the Facebook group, Palace members disappointed and frustrated, said Christy was at one point an administrator of the group, but that she is at no point controlled the group. She at no point controlled the group. Well, thank you, Stormy. Jesus loves me and loves you too. God bless you. Thank you so much. I needed to hear that. Okay, so let me see. This is okay. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Okay. She says she deleted the group after Hull, Christy's daughter, asked her late last week and hope it would help expedite their release from prison. I am truly worried that this could turn to a wrongful death issue if they remain in jail. Foreigner said. Now y'all start this fight and then you want to run and cry. Oh my God. Foreigner said in an interview that Facebook did not at any point reach out to her about the group or at any point suspend the group or flag it. Facebook not going to do that. They're all about stealing information. Okay. Allegedly. Okay. Absolutely nothing, which was a huge indicator for me that we weren't doing anything wrong. Facebook did not immediately respond to a request for comment. That is not an immediate huge indicator that you weren't doing anything wrong just because Facebook doesn't censor you. That's not. Foreigner said Foreigner shared screenshots of text messages she received that she believes but does not know for sure were sent to her by people connected to Palace Resorts, which she perceived as menacing and intimidation for her role in the Facebook group. Foreigner said she reported the communications to the FBI and to local law enforcement last fall, and that the FBI provided instructions on how best to report her experiences to the FBI. The FBI also declined to comment. The Palace company did not immediately respond to requests. The Palace company did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Hull, the Akil's daughter, says she is haunted by the last text she was able to exchange with her mother, in which she told her mother, "I'm scared. Please help us." You shouldn't have took that $117,000 back. Y'all thought that y'all could take that money back from a company in Mexico, and hey, foreigners stick together day. Dakota, thank you so much. Hi, I appreciate you for subscribing and hitting the like button. Thank you so much, Dakota Wright. Thank you so much. She said her family will not stop speaking out and hope it helps her parents release from prison. I don't think they had any idea that my brother and I were going to be this relentless about this. She said, I'm assuming they thought we were going to be scared, and we are for our parents. I'm not scared of them. Okay, so let me just tell y'all what happened, because I thought it was going to tell me what happened. So okay, so this is the AI overview. In March of 2025, Michigan residents Paul and Christy Aikio, sometimes reported as Co, were detained in Cancun over an alleged $117,000 timeshare fraud dispute with Palace Elite Resorts, leading to nearly a month in Mexican prison before their release. Facilitated by U.S. officials. So their release was facilitated by U.S. officials, must be nice, after an agreement was reached where charges were dropped following a payment agreement involving the couple, the resort, and a charitable donation. Okay, so the resolution with intervention from U.S. Congressman Tom Barrett, an agreement were reached where charges were dropped, involved disputed fees being paid and donated to Mexican charities. Purple love and greetings. So it must be nice. So this is what happened with this couple. This American couple, Christy and Paul Akio, also known as Co. The husband charged back $117,000 from his American Express card for a resort that they signed up for a membership with, a timeshare resort in Mexico. When they got to Mexico, they were, we're going on our long vacation, our weighted vacation. How you going to scam a company in the country and then think you can go back to their country? They showed you. They locked them up, and in the end, they ended up they came to a settlement, and they had to, where the charges were dropped, but they did have to make a payment agreement involving the couple, the resort, and and a charitable foundation. So I love that they made them also give to a charitable foundation. So not only can you not come to my country and do on us, right, and take our stuff and treat us like crap and this, that, and the third, and take back $117,000, even though you signed up for this membership, this timeshare. Well, they had to make a payment, and then they also had to make a donation to a charitable foundation. So kudos to Mexico for that. Now the last one, guys, is the one that, and I God, I'm 110 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes, but the last one is interesting. So I don't know about you all, but when I watch a movie, um, and it says based on a true story, I'm like, oh, let me Google, right? So I may be slow to the game, but I recently saw the movie Hustlers. Have y'all seen that with Jennifer Lopez? OMG, right? Now, I enjoyed the movie. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the movie. What's crazy is the girl, the Asian girl that plays in this is from the movie. What is it? From the TV show Fresh Off the Boat. The one in the right, right? I don't know her name, but she was here she is. Here's a better picture. She was on Fresh Off the Boat, right? I love that TV show. It really was funny. It was so funny. And it showed how they can have all of this, people can have all of this, Mexican pride, Puerto Rican pride, Colombian pride, Haitian pride, Jamaican pride, but as an American we can't have any pride. I'm a proud mother effing American. Yes, I am. And it took me going to the Gambia and going through all that to really love. I'm like, wait, hold on. People come from countries where they're just drug dealers everywhere, right? And this, that, and the third. And I'm not supposed to be a proud American when everyone wants to come to our country. I'm a proud American. Not a proud white American. Only my surname is white. But I am a proud American. I'm a proud Black American. So the last movie we're going to talk about is Hustlers, okay? And Hustlers it's based on a true story. It's based on a true story. If you haven't seen it, it was really interesting. But the story is what really got me, okay? Now, let me show a picture of the real people. This is the real Asian girl. That's her. She was pretty, right? Okay, so now let's talk about what this is. Yo, this is crazy. So yes, the movie Hustlers is based on a true story of a group of strippers who drugged and scam wealthy Wall Street clients in New York City during the late 2000s. If you want to see what they actually look like, here it is. So the top right hand corner is the Asian girl, right? Let me turn this sideways. There we go. Okay. So the top right hand corner is the Asian girl. That is Lisa Wu. That's her name. Now, how did that come to me? I think her name is Lisa Wu. Now, I could be totally wrong and just made that up. But her name, the girl from Fresh Off the Boat, this is who she played, right? That's the Asian girl that she played. Now, she played, Jennifer Lopez played her. She was the master of it. And then there were two other girls, right? Those poor two girls didn't know if they were coming or going. The mastermind were these two. Now, in the movie, the real Asian girl, she said that she doesn't like the way they portrayed her because she said she was not. Lisa Wu, is that her name? No, her name is Constance Wu. Sorry. The Asian girl that played her name is Constance Wu. There we go. There we go. Constance Wu. I said her name was Lisa Wu. But Constance Wu played her, right? And Constance was very submissive in the movie. And the real girl was like, I don't like the way they portrayed me in that because I did not just accept everything that the girl said. Now, yes, they glorified it because it was Jennifer Lopez and celebrities. And Keke Palmer was in that movie as well, right? Cardi B played in it because, she was a stripper. So they were working at the strip club. So she played perfect for that, right? But it was inspired by a 2015 New York Magazine article by Jessica Pressler, focusing on ringleaders like Rosalind Keough. That's funny. I didn't even notice that the names are kind of the same. A Keough and this one. Is that That's funny. I just caught that. Okay, God. I see you. You're helping me do my lives. I appreciate that. Yalla bahna. Alhamdulillah. So Jessica Pressler focuses. She did an article in New York Magazine by in 2015, focusing on ringleaders like Rosalind Keough and Samantha Barbash. Okay, now I think Samantha Barbash. I just want to make sure Samantha Barbash. Okay, so this is Samantha Barbash. This is ooh, okay. There she is. There she. Now, oh, she didn't gave. Oh wow. You see? Look at this, y'all. You see? Okay. All right. So that was when the left is when Jennifer Lopez was in the movie, and then she turned around and does the same thing. Well, I think she did this first. So she did this first, and then Jennifer Lopez, because the movie came out after this, right? Now, what they did, how can you be angry, man? You were drugging and robbing. They were doing this, but the men, if y'all saw the movie, the men weren't going to say anything. Why? Because they didn't want to be found out. If they had a wife, this, that, and the third, they didn't want to be found out. So that's Samantha Barbash is the one that was in charge. And then the other name is the Asian girl must have been Rosalind Keough. So let me see. Rosalind Keough. There we go. Yeah, so that's her, right? Former exotic dancer. That's what they say. I would not want that to be my name. She's pretty though. Oh, so this is what she used to look like, right? That's what she used to look like. And then this is what she looks like now, or recently when Hustlers came out, right? Okay. But I guess, you get comfortable. You're not a stripper anymore. I don't know. Okay. So let's get back to this so I can get up out of here. I know Stella ready to go to the bathroom. This complex is not going to do anything about the dog attack. This is I'm just going to carry my gun, and if another dog attacks me, then I'll be on the news for shooting somebody's damn dog. I don't care, because just because your dog is friendly, your dog may not be friendly to me. I don't know your dog. And if your dog is big and it comes barreling at me, what am I supposed to do? Oh my god, he may not bite me. These people, I swear, these companies, this is why I sue. Okay, so focusing on the ring leaders like Rosalind Keough and Samantha Barbash. Samantha Barbash has had so much surgery that her face it straight up looks plastic. The film dramatizes events, blending real accounts with fictionalized elements, with characters like Destiny, who played Constance Wu, inspired by Keough, and Ramona was played by Jennifer Lopez, joined from Barbash. Okay, so Rosalind Keough, the key figures and inspiration, right? So Rosalind Keough, her. There's an article here. There's a what's the name here as well. A video, 49 seconds of her talking. I think she was on ABC Good Morning America Hustlers. But if you Google Hustlers, you'll see that video. It's 49 seconds. I don't want it to be copywritten, so that's why I'm not playing it. So it says the real life stripper whose story, Rosalind Keough, the real life stripper whose story formed a significant basis for the movie, particularly the character of Destiny, played by Constance Wu. Samantha Barbash, a former dancer and hostess who led the scheme, she inspired the character Ramona, played by Jennifer Lopez. Barbash later wrote her own memoir, Underscore. Yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm going to write what I'm going to write about what happened to me in the Gambia. Might as well capitalize off it. Jessica Pressler, the journalist. Okay, so let's go to this. I want to talk about what happened. I want to talk about what happened and what was the scheme and what happened to the article. Okay, let me see. Oh, crap, y'all. I had the article up and now it's not up. Okay. Okay. So I want to read to you all what happened. All right, so let me see if I can get Time Magazine. I don't know if I can read Time Magazine. Okay, so Hustlers. On June 11th, 2014, four women and one man were indicted for allegedly giving men rugs. Wait, hold on. For drugging men and charging thousands of dollars on their credit cards at New York City clubs. 5 years later, one of those women, Rosalind Rosie Keough, considered one of the scheme's two ringleaders, posed for photographers at the Toronto International Film Festival. Keough was sentenced to 5 years probation in 2016. Was in Toronto to watch her own story play out on screen in Hustler. So does she live in Toronto? She went to Canada to see the movie. I guess I wouldn't see it in America either. A new movie from writer-director Lorene Scafari, which premiered at the festival on September 17th. So I don't want to read about this. I want to read about what happened, because I did read this before. She had humble beginnings. Rosalind and Samantha Barbash's humble beginning. According to the account, Keough discovered the world of New York strip clubs after her parents, Cambodian refugees, left her and her brother with their grandparents. My mom wasn't able to help me. Who knows what kind of person I would have been if there was if she was there to back me up. Would I have worked so hard? Would I have hustled so hard the way I did, knowing I had something to fall back on? She probably wouldn't have. We get into unprecedented positions, and if you got a nice body and you're pretty, stripping is the next thing. That hustling began with a stripping at a local club in Rockland County, where Keough grew up, around an hour and a half drive from New York City, before she moved on to bigger opportunities in Times Square's Flash Dancers Club and Larry Flint's Hustlers Club. She met Barbash at Hustler, right? If y'all saw the movie, that's where they met. It was in 2007 when the two started working together to make money from mostly Wall Street guys. Barbash told Presser at this time their work was legal, earning money and tips and gifts from their male clientele. The men were mostly assholes, and it wasn't as glamorous or lucrative as people claim it to be, right? The thing is it was a friendship, right? Keough had humble beginnings. She was shy, this, that, and the third. She hustling. Samantha Barbash took her under her wing, and she came up with, look, instead of doing this, I think something had happened. Wall Street had crashed, so they had to find another way to make money. And once Wall Street crashed and they needed to find another way to make money, they started coming up with using ketamine to knock the people out and rob them. This is so sad. I'm gonna show y'all the picture. So this is the picture of the like them going to promote. Now everybody else is just fine. Look at Cardi. And I'm like, Kiki, girl, you are a celebrity. Okay? Way before Cardi. You are okay. So I want to tell you all what happened. I want the AR overview, okay? So, all right, here we go. The Hustlers 2019 movie, real life figures led by Rosalind Keough and Samantha Barbash were involved in drugging and scamming wealthy men at New York City strip clubs during the 2008 recession, resulting in charges like grand larceny and conspiracy. But most received probation or minimal jail time, like weekends in jail for Karina Pascucci and Marcy Rosen. Now, that is these two girls. That's these two girls. The two on the left side, these two, they received the lighter sentence. Okay. So I just wanted to give you one of them just covered their face. They didn't even want to be seen. So Karina Pascucci, I think that's the top one, and Marcy Rosen, they minimal jail time, like weekends in jail, due to plea deals, with Barbash later suing over the film but losing the case. They largely moved on, with Barbash even writing a book. What happened to the real life hustlers? So Rosalind Keough, who played Constance Wu's character, took a plea deal for grand larceny and assault, receiving 5 years probation and no jail time to focus on her daughter. That's when her and Jennifer Lopez kind of like separated because she had a daughter. Jennifer Lopez had a child as well. Samantha Barbash, Jennifer Lopez's character, the alleged ringleader, she also got 5 years probation after pleading guilty to conspiracy, assault, and grand larceny, as reported by BBC. She later sued the movie producers for using her likeness, but lost the case. Girl, that is public. You crazy. That's public knowledge. Why would you do that? You were gonna lose that. But if they only got 5 years probation, they probably had excellent lawyers and they had to pay something back, right? Because how do you do all of this and you only get probation? Karina Pascucci and Marcy Rosen received harsher sentences. You hear me, right? So the ringleader and the two ringleaders got both received 5 years probation, probably because they still had money to pay for a lawyer. Now, the poorer ones, Karina Pascucci and Marcy Rosen, received harsher sentences, serving 4 months, 4 months of weekend jail time plus 5 years probation for their roles. That's messed up. You see, when you don't have money, you will get the short end of the stick. How did the ringleaders and them get probation? They got 4 months jail time and probation. That's not fair. That's not fair. Carmine Vitoli, he was the club manager, pled guilty to petite larceny and got 3 years probation. So if you want to see what he looks like, this is, what's his name? Okay, let me make sure I got his name right. Carmine Vitoli. This is Carmine Vitoli. And he got 3 years probation. So you know that these people, now he was the club manager, so you know he got money. He was awarded, he got money throughout the scam, the fraud scheme, right? And then so did the two girls on the right side, right? Samantha and Rosalind Keough. Rosie, what the hell? I just read her name. What do they call her? Rosalind and Samantha. So that's not fair though. But the scheme and the fallout: the women drug wealthy men, often with MDMA and ketamine, and ran up huge credit card charges on lavish services at strip clubs like Roadhouse, New York City. So you know, this is how they were getting the money back, because they ran up the credit card. So the club manager gets the money and he shares the money with them. That was the scheme. So the scheme unraveled when victims noticed large unauthorized charges and contacted their credit card companies, leading to an investigation. Now, unfortunately, these people were charging more stuff than, I mean, they had the credit card. So now they're like, we're going shopping. We want these Louis Vuitton, whatever. I don't know the name brand stuff, but they were going out and buying stuff to look good on somebody else's dime. That's what, and the unauthorized charges, the people contacted their credit card companies, leading to an investigation. The women were charged with conspiracy, grand larceny, and assault, but most cooperated to avoid long prison sentences, with Keough and Barbash receiving probation. Keough focused on her daughter and rebuilding her life, says this article from the Oxygen Network. Barbash has since run a spa, written a book, and sued the film studio, according to news reports from BBC. The movie itself became a major hit, grossing over $150 million, but Jennifer Lopez did not receive any Oscar nominations despite Golden Globe recognition. So yeah, that is interesting, right? So this tonight's Friday Night Frights was and is dedicated to fraud schemes and people that have been held accountable. Now, I do believe that our Kathy probably wished that maybe she went to prison instead of leaving this planet. I'm just showing you all the highlights. Mother and son in jail. So they got it right with Kingston, where she got more time than him. But How? Okay, but these are two different states, right? This happened in Florida, and then this happened in New York City, right? So, depending on the states and the laws, I mean, I know that they got these people for thousands of dollars, probably millions, right? Grand larceny, that's a certain amount. So, the hustlers were stealing way more money than Kingston and what's the name, but they got jail time. But maybe they didn't keep the money. So if you're going to do crimes, I hope you keep the money, because sooner or later you may come and you may have to be held accountable for your actions, just like these two. They had to pay their way out as well. Yes, guys. So thank you so much. It's been an hour and a half. I didn't want to be this long, but I wanted to cover everything. Thank you so much for joining me on another Friday Night Frights. And I know I did a lot of lives today. Shout out to the people that are going to be reviewing them, um, reviewing the recording, the replay. Shout out to the people that have been with me during these lives. I appreciate you all. I did want to work out tonight, but I'm not going to. What's today? Tomorrow's Saturday. I think I'm gonna go get in the water tomorrow morning. I gotta make sure my thing is charged up for my, what is it called? I have a waterproof iPod shuffle. So Renee Marcus's brother and them did steal this during my home invasion in the Gambia. But this is the one thing that Nija did replace, because I was really mad about this. So because they say the instructor doesn't play music, I have my headphones and my iPod shuffle. I connect it to my bathing suit, and I can listen to whatever music I put on here during my workout. I love this thing. This was my best friend. You know, anybody knows that when you're robbed, it's a personal violation, right? I can deal with a lot of things, but I can't deal with a thief, because a thief will sit there and watch you work hard and get all of this money and do whatever and come and take it. Their lives need to be taken. Their fingers need to be cut off, because that's not right. So I'm going to charge this. And like I said, I'm not working out today. I'm going to give myself a break. I was supposed to only give myself a day, and today was supposed to be the next day, but I did a lot today. And I also unpacked some boxes in my home. Y'all, I unpacked like 6 boxes last night. So now I only have 2 boxes in my room. Well, 4. 2 of the boxes I will be unpacking to, well, I'm hanging the clothes up in my closet. I ordered some vacuum sealer bags so I can start sealing stuff and putting them in. They're already in the totes, but I'm going to seal them. And then, Miss L, I'm going to be back in that shed one more time because I need to organize it. My life is going to be changing on January 21st. It's going to be changing on the 14th, but then it's also going to change again a week later. And I'm excited. I'm here for it. I'm excited. I'm going on to the next chapter in my life, and I'm here for it. So I am going to be a lot more busy, but so I said, let me go ahead and finish this, unpacking this house, so that way I don't have to worry about it. I hung up my picture in my bedroom. I did so much. I did so much. Now I don't see boxes up against my wall, against the window. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what I'm doing. I'm excited for the next stage of my life. I'm excited for this lawsuit. I'm excited for holding people accountable that has scammed us. I'm excited for what God has in store for my future, because I know I didn't maliciously do anything, contrary to what Joyce said. But tonight, you all, I will be dropping a response, because YouTube now tells us that we can respond to a comment with a video, just like TikTok. So I'm coming for Joyce Dar B. Y'all know y'all know I sing and dance to everything, right? But I'm gonna come for her. And I did not accept her comment, because just so you all know, My comments for hell are held for review. Just in case you put a comment up there and you're like, I don't see it. It's held for review. I have to approve it. So her comment is not there. I'm going to, when I finish writing what I need to write to respond in the video, then I will post it. And then you can tell me if this woman is an American, Black American like us, or if she's a foreigner, a continental African, or if she's Black British. Because y'all know we could tell the difference, right? We can tell the difference. Happy Friday, happy Juma. But thanks for joining me. I'm out. See you all next time. And always, always, always fight the scammers. Always fight them.